Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, and welcome to my Chapter 12 review of Tite Kubo's Zombie Powder. Alright, so, a little bit of delay on this one. It's been about a week since the last time I did these, but you know what? I knew this shit was going to happen, and that's why I selected this particular series. Well, one of the many reasons I selected Zombie Powder to do these reviews is because, I was inspired by, Jim's Nerd Nation. He does the chapter-by-chapter reviews of, like, One Piece and Naruto and Toriko. But the thing with Jim is every single day he releases, like, some, I think he does One Piece I don't know if he releases One Piece every day, but I know he has a video uploaded on his channel every single day. And I knew that that wasn't going to happen with me. Even at the beginning when I started doing these and I was releasing a Zombie Powder review pretty much every day, like for the first 3, I was releasing one every day. But I knew I was going to hit a roadblock at some point. I knew that I was going to make a video and I wasn't going to make another one for about a week or 2. I knew I would hit that roadblock because I always do. But the good thing is, it's Zombie Powder. It's only a 27-chapter series, so it's kind of like a enjoy it while it lasts mentality, because it's not going to last forever. It's not like with One Piece, where we gotta hurry up and get caught up to the main storyline. This series has already been dead and gone for over a decade, so, just kind of have to deal with it as we go. But regardless, let's just start with this chapter. This is track number 12, The Ring of the Dead. My love feeds on you. Okay, that's a pretty sick chapter title, like that. Alright, so, chapter continues where we left off with Balmunk basically in front of this hospital, basically wanting to lay siege to it and just retrieve the Ring of the Dead. And apparently Wolfina's been in this town for a while and has been kind of fighting Balmunk back for the past couple times he's tried to do this to the hospital. But I guess this time his patience is just done and he just was going to do it, he's just going to break in and I just kill everybody and just take the ring when Gamma shows up. And Gamma, he was like filled with glee last chapter that Gamma showed up. He was like, this is a gift from the gods of magic, Akutabe Gamma. So, he's there, and we're having this big epic stare down from the last chapter, and that's where we pick up. Gamma's just talking smack to him. It's like, you were talking about beating me down. I think you need to reevaluate your shit here, Balmunk. You're going down if we fight. And he just kind of gets this glint in his eye, and he's just like, oh, wait, this isn't good. You almost distracted me from my main goal. And, of course, my main goal is to take the Ring of the Dead. So, here's what Balmunk does. He doesn't go all out right now into this fight with Gamma. I don't know why. Maybe because he doesn't have, from what we see, later, from what we know about Balmunk, that he attacks usually in this big circus performance. He's by himself right now. Maybe that's the reason. He basically just says, okay, well, tomorrow night, I will put on a show, and tomorrow night I will attack you now, knowing that Akutabe Gamma is here. I'm not holding anything back. So maybe that's why he's retreating for the moment. And he also says that tomorrow night the Ring of the Dead will be mine. Wolfina charges at him, trying to stop him. He's like, au revoir, miss. And he just disappears in a flash of light, and there's just like a cloth that's remaining that he was standing on, and I guess the cloth just, drifts to the ground or whatever. So he just completely vanished. And so now, this is like, the shit is on now. He knows Gamma's there, and I guess him and Gamma had scuffles in the past. Maybe they fought before, and he knows that, this is just as wonderful. He'll be able to get rid of Gamma, who has 2 Rings of the Dead, plus he'll be able to get to the Ring of the Dead in the hospital. So this seems like this makes sense for Balmunk to retreat and fortify and come back, because if he comes back at full power with like his entire circus posse, whoever they may be, I'm sure killed 20,000 people in a single freaking night under 2 hours. I'm sure they're kind of badass as well. So he gets everybody together on this big epic performance, and he might actually be able to get 3 Rings of the Dead for the price of 1. So that's why he's so excited. So we get the title page of the chapter, which is actually just Smith and Elwood, who we have yet to see in the past couple of chapters. I guess they've been just hanging out at the hotel here. So we get them, and then we get, like, Elwood wearing his weird vest thing. It's something Kubo does really good chapter titles sometimes, especially with this Zombie Powder I'm noticing. With Bleach, for the past couple of title pages, he's been getting a little bit lazy with the title pages. He hasn't actually done anything really insane with them. Then again, we are in the middle of, like, a major war arc right now, so I can understand that. But these earlier title pages, you can really tell, like, this is where Kubo's, like, originality shines through. Like, these are the things, like, he doesn't have to really follow context of the story. He can just draw whatever. I think there was an interview one time that Kubo did about Bleach, and somebody questioned all the different outfits that Ichigo wears, and I think Kubo basically says, I draw the outfits I wish I could buy in stores, but they don't exist. So that kind of gives you a sense of his fashion sense there. But anyway, so Balmunk's disappeared, and now we cut, I guess, to maybe a couple minutes, hours later, where the doctor's kind of just, consoling that little girl. Like, the little girl was scared. He's like, oh, he holds up a teddy bear, tries to cheer her up, and Wolfina is just, like, walked through the hospital, and just, like, and the doctor's like, okay, thank you, Wolfina, you've saved us again. And Wolfina's just like, no, I didn't really do much of anything. I mean, Gamma was the one that kind of stopped him at the last minute, so, you know, they said, well, oh, and the doctor's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, he got away, we're all good, we're safe for another night, would you like some coffee? And Gamma's just standing in the doorway all cool, and he's just like, you think it's kind of smart for you guys to be relaxing like this? He did say he was going to come back the other night. You know, and you better hide the Ring of the Dead until then. And Wolfina jumps out, and she's all like, and she goes back into her, like, crazy, you know, her spastic form. She's just like, what? There's no Ring of the Dead in here. How many times do I have to tell you? It was just a freaking fairy tale. And Gamma just finally comes out and says something that he elaborates on the whole Eaton thing that we didn't know from the last chapter, last couple of chapters actually. Balmunk kind of interrupted that, but I guess Gamma was about to tell Wolfina before Balmunk showed up, and that was maybe there is a Ring of the Dead in the hospital. It was just eaten. It just ate somebody, and therefore that's what you don't know. So if we finally get an explanation on what this means, what the fact of getting eaten by the Ring of the Dead means, and this is not what I was expecting. When he said eaten by the Ring of the Dead, I thought he was meaning like, okay, it's Ring of the Dead. Maybe if you put the ring on by accident or thinking it's a regular ring, maybe you'll, like, I don't know, slowly die, or maybe your life force will be slowly drained from you. Yes and no, but basically Gamma sums it up like this. He's just like, okay, it'll be easier just for me to explain it to you. So he takes out his original Ring of the Dead, not the one they got from Calder Space, like the original one, the one with like the turquoise thing on it. I don't know who's holding on to the other one. I would imagine that Gamma would just hold on to all of them for what we're going to find out later. But anyway, he just says, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to feed myself to this thing. So he takes up the ring. Wolfina's just like, what are you doing with that fake ring? Because she's clearly not getting it yet. Gamma takes the turquoise, the gem part of the ring, and presses it right against one of his fingers. And then, in like the split second that thing touches Gamma's hand, like right before it touches his finger, actually, all these little tiny freaky hands just pop out of the fucking ring and then latch onto Gamma's finger. But not only that, these things literally dive into his skin and just kind of like scissor and snake their way up this freaking guy's arm and then eventually reach his face. And you can actually see one like pop through his fucking eye socket and grab his freaking cornea. And then before Gamma just like takes his right arm, he's holding the ring with his right arm and he's pressing it to his left arm, so armored right arm. This thing's like crawling up his freaking hand, like invading him, like some kind of weird tentacle hentai, and he just like weird, like rips this fucking thing off his hand. And you know he's bleeding, and the arms pull out, and they all retract back into the ring, and they just kind of settle down. And Gamma's sitting there, and he's bleeding, and there's blood dripping from his fucking eye, and he's just like, now do you believe me, bitch? Now do you understand what the fuck this thing can do? And Wolfina and the doctor are looking at this dude like, holy shit, what the hell did we just watch? Keep in mind, all this shit happened like in the span of just a couple seconds. It's just like, okay, you don't get it? Watch. Okay, now do you understand? You know, I was not expecting that. I don't know what the hell I was expecting, but I was not expecting the tentacle hentai. That was wild. Like little microscopic, little beady hands just pops out like little and just grab you, and it's like, you can feel them like scissoring their way through your muscles, like into your freaking arm, like invading your blood vessels or whatever. That's the one that reached his eye was the one that really creeped me out. The one that actually went into his face and then almost touched his eye. That was freaking scary. If nothing else, though, now we know why Gamma wears the right arm, or at least maybe one of the reasons. Like he gave one reason was, I wear it to stop bullets. Okay, I guess the other reason is to keep the rings on him without them trying to kill him. And also, going back to the other person we've seen touch the ring was Smith. Smith was wearing the gloves, so maybe the ring has to come in like direct contact with organic life in order for it to invade you and for it to kill you. I guess that's how it works. Anyway, Gamma elaborates to Wolfina, who's probably like traumatized right now from what she just saw, exactly what it is to be a Ring of the Dead. A Ring of the Dead is therefore deprived of life. Therefore, they are starved for life. So it wouldn't be really a far cry to call the Rings of the Dead living things. They need to eat, or they're always starving for life, as Gamma stated. So therefore, whenever they are close to life, they will try to consume it no matter what. They will go freaking apeshit over this thing. That's why anytime you touch it, it doesn't matter if you're a human, an animal, a flower, doesn't matter. Any form of life whatsoever, this thing will try to claw at and invade and kill. And it's through that life that it eats that it will eventually give birth to the zombie powder. So I don't know how this works, like, given the fact that there's 12 of them. Like, if it's just one ring, I get like one ring absorbs like a maximum amount of life, and then it expels the zombie powder. Maybe you have to get all 12 together, and all 12 of them will create the zombie powder from all the life energy if they've all gathered together. But yeah, that's freaking cool explanation, though. So basically any life force. That's the whole point of them. So the doctor brings up a simple question. He's like, okay, well, what happens when a human being, like, we're not talking about animals, what happens when a human being is eaten by the Ring of the Dead? Like, what would happen if you kept that thing on your finger and, like, the hands just invaded you? And Gamma's like, well, you're not going to die right away. It appears from the outside like you're sleeping. I guess the ring likes to take its time. It likes to, like, kind of savor its meal. It doesn't like to hurry up and just finish it off. It likes to kind of slowly consume your life energy. So it says you basically get put into a coma. If you're given nutrients, if you're given, like, if you're fed intravenously, you won't die immediately, but you'll basically never wake up. You'll be in a coma until you die of natural causes, until you just die of old age, while the Ring of the Dead is eating you from within. So Gamma just asks him, like, okay, is there anybody in this hospital that has shown that kind of symptom, that has just fallen asleep and in a coma and they will not wake up no matter what you've tried? And the doctor's like, well, there's only one person in this hospital that fits that description. And Wolfina's kind of, like, startled by this. She's like, hey, doctor, I don't know if you should tell him. And the doctor's like, well, you know, he sent Balmunk away. He's clearly not a terrible person, and he's telling the truth now that we know about the Ring of the Dead. He's clearly telling the truth about that. And if this is what he's telling us is truth about the Ring of the Dead, then maybe that'll bring us much closer to discovering how to heal this individual, the one who's been eaten. So the doctor and Wolfina kind of lead Gamma down to this hallway to a certain room. And once they get close to the room, the doctor's like, okay, this is the patient that had the Ring of the Dead that won't wake up no matter what we've tried. So as soon as Gamma gets close to the room, though, before he even opens the door, he holds up the Ring of the Dead in his right arm, and it starts letting out this high-pitched whining sound, like this crying sound. And Wolfina even calls it that, like, it's crying. And the thing is just, like, you can see, like, inside the turquoise, like, gem, there's, like, this deformed freaking mouth and eyeball and all these hands, just, like, this like, amorphous thing just, like, going, like, freaking ape shit inside of the gem. And Gamma's just like, oh, it's jealous because one of its buddies got some food before him. So I guess these things are, like, sentient, or at least semi-sentient, because they're aware that, like, they're close to another Ring of the Dead, and this Ring of the Dead has actually gotten a good meal. They're eating somebody, and this other ring, the one that Gamma has, is basically starved to death because Gamma won't let it eat anything. And so they just enter the room finally, and the doctor introduces the patient. He says, this is Emilio Lufus Ghetto, Wolfina's brother. So, okay, this is Wolfina's brother, the one from the picture. I kind of figured we were going to go in this direction because Wolfina was always so very protective, like just very cautious whenever this subject got brought up. She was very defensive whenever Gamma brought up the Ring of the Dead because apparently her brother was the one that the ring was feeding off of, and the one that is in a coma since they were kids, I suppose. So next chapter, I really don't know where we're going to go with this. I mean, the way Gamma was saying it, it's like you're in a coma. I don't think you can be healed by this. Like, I don't think it'll be that simple of just walking up to Emilio, pulling out the ring, and just being like, oh, I'm okay. You know, it's not going to be that simple, especially since I would imagine it's a hospital. I would imagine they would have tried to take off the ring at some point. You know, I don't know how that works, but I mean, it was really cool finally finding out what that whole being eaten by the Ring of the Dead thing is. It really, you know, solved a lot of mysteries. I guess if Gamma would have let that thing on him, then he would have just passed out and the ring just would have consumed him like a leech, like a parasite. That's basically a parasitic relationship. That's basically what it is, you know, with one person living off another living organism, you know, eventually until that person dies. So, interesting little concept there we learned. Balmunk back next, I don't know when he'll be back. Like, he said tomorrow night, so I'm guessing they're going to have like a day or so in order to train and prepare. You know, oh, maybe Gamma will probably go bring Mr. Smith and Elwood back up to speed on what's going on. Like, I would laugh so hard if he just walked into the hotel room and Gamma and Smith Elwood and Smith are just there still playing cards like Go Fish or whatever. Gamma just walks in and he's like, hey guys, guess what? We're going to the circus tomorrow night. And Elwood's just like, oh really? And Smith's just like, oh okay, is this what I mean? Is like that would be pretty funny if they get brought up to speed like that. But yeah, anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this chapter. You know, not much happened, just in ways of just exposition, really, and advance the story forward indeed. So hope you guys enjoyed. Tekking signing out. See you in the next one.